welcome back to the Ember videos. This is him right here. So I haven't filmed for probably like 2 weeks. One of the weeks I wasn't here, so he just had a week off, and then the other week I just really wasn't feeling well and the weather wasn't great, so I was just kind of getting things done rather than wanting to film. But we've made a lot of progress in those 2 weeks that we haven't been filming. He's now like leading around quite nicely, which is really good. And it hasn't been like progress every day. Like he's definitely had some days, haven't you, baby, where he's kind of like not regressed, but like just had really spooky days, and it can be anything that sets him off, really. It's always people related. Like he's actually not a very spooky horse, but like someone came in to fix the fencing in his pen, and like that ruined his whole day. But overall he's progressed really well, and I just couldn't be more pleased with him. So I thought I'd just film my session today, show everyone where we're at right now. I think this is week 5, is it, Ember, that we've been together? And yeah, like I said, he's leading really nicely around his pen. Again, I'm kind of frustrated I didn't film because obviously there was some fun like cowboy, I guess, moments where he was like rearing up when we were like learning to lead, but he's kind of coming really nicely off pressure now. So I'm hoping in the next few days I will get him out of this pen, into the bigger round pen, and start kind of more work, really. So yeah. So like I said in the intro, this is, I believe, week 5 with him. So I'm just going to show you what we do in a session. I am starting each session with like, I guess it's essentially like join up, because I'm just trying to get some draw from him now, like getting him to like walk towards me rather than me always going towards him. So I love to start the sessions doing a little bit of that, and then we kind of progress on. At the moment, I'm still not just coming in here, haltering him up and leading him around. Like I really like to kind of like do a temperature check on like where his mood is. So yeah, I will get started on that. I'm hoping you can see there's a whole bit of pen behind this camera because the tree is in the middle, so there'll be bits that you miss, but hopefully you will be able to see most of it. Okay, so I've sped this clip up a little bit just because there's so much of it that's out of frame, but essentially I just start the session by sending him out. He is a horse that sometimes feels a bit stuck and frozen, so I like to start the session with moving his feet and just kind of get him out of that like frozen mindset. And so I just ask him to go around a few times. Sometimes, depending on like where his energy levels are at and where his mentality is at, I'll send him out for longer. Today he was very chill, so I kind of just sent him out for a few laps, and then you'll see in a second I turn and look at his hind end to bring him in, and then I send him out the other way before we then start the session. And you'll see when I bring him in, I now move in figure of 8s just to try and get some draw from him, and I got a few steps forward, so I was really pleased with that. Again, it's not perfect, but it's miles from where we used to be, so really pleased whenever I get even just one footstep towards me. And so now I send him out in the other direction, just so he can kind of also see me from his other eye, and make sure we've kind of worked in a balanced way off of both reins. Okay, so I feel like unfortunately you probably didn't get most of that because I just think the camera angle was bad, but basically so I can tell by the day like how much he needs to go around, and again, too much to explain in one video, but I basically send him out and then I look for him to kind of like drop his head down by the dirt and like have his attention fully on me, and then I turn him in. Sometimes he will want to turn in before he's ready, and so it's like important that like I keep sending him out until I've asked him to come in. So we've just done a few rounds of that. He's actually in like I said, I use that as like a bit of a temperature check, and he seems to be very like tuned in today, very at peace, which is great. So I'm now gonna move on to just kind of like spending some time with him. I like rub all over him, and just kind of like basically just do a little bit of desensitization before we then move to the halter. So I'm going to try and kind of move him. I'm going to do another circle and kind of move him to a better spot so that you can see what we're doing. So at the moment I'm still giving him loads of breaks in between, just to let him like register things. We've just had a few instances where people have come in just to like clean out his pen or anything, or things like that. And I think people have kind of gone up to pet him, and it's thrown him a bit because he started to become a little bit guarded on his side that he was always more comfortable on. But he does need to get used to kind of people approaching him and things. But he's a very sensitive soul, so I'm still just giving him loads of processing time. So I'll pet him, and sometimes I'll do loads with him over there, and I'll be over there for 5 minutes, and sometimes I'll do 10 seconds and come away. So just kind of consistently reading his body language. And so I've just been doing some like petting with him, and he's definitely holding some tension. So I'm gonna just give him a break. I'll obviously chop this break out, and I just want to see him kind of let go of some of that tension whilst I've stepped away from him. So it's always typical, I turned my camera off. So he gave me loads of licks and chews. Oh, there, he's still going. So with him, it's really important, and now he's got a droopy bottom lip. I think this is the same for a lot of horses, but if you don't give him enough time to like really process things, like I was petting him, I could see he was still tense, but you really need to give him that 5 minutes. Like it took 5 minutes there for him to like release, and then I'm like, okay, now he's relaxed. So I'm gonna go in and do some more pets. Now he's kind of let go of that tension, and then we'll do some kind of rope desensitization, and then we'll move to the halter. Good boy. It's okay. So I'm just gonna wait for a little like release from him. Yeah, he's starting to look a bit more relaxed. And the thing with him is some days I will come in here and we spend all of 5 minutes and we've got the halter on. Other days he just needs a bit longer. He's a really sensitive guy, but he's so smart. Like there's so many amazing qualities about him. If I have to spend half an hour getting him happy with where he is, I would rather he was doing everything and not tense, because I've noticed is the type of horse that if he doesn't have enough breaks to relax, he will just explode. So you really have to just give him his time, don't you, Mr. Ember? I also need to get a brush on him, but we'll do that later. We're on other things right now. So I'm gonna get our stick and just do a little bit of like desensitization. I'm kind of working all over his body, both sides of his body now, and doing legs. So kind of in preparation to sort of start picking his feet out hopefully next week. hope my body wasn't blocking that, but I was really pleased with that. Oh my gosh, my hair, honestly, I might have to take it out. I look like a schoolboy. I've started rubbing under his tummy as well. That was the first time I've ever rubbed under his tummy, because I want him to start getting, because in the next few weeks I'm hoping we'll put a roller on him just to get that feeling of something being around the belly. So I was really pleased that he really just didn't react to that. Like I said, he is honestly every day becoming so much more comfortable with his body, which is really nice to see. And I can see this video is now hitting 6 minutes, so I'm going to stop and restart. Anyway, now we are going to move on to the halter. So with his halter, I still, even though he wears it, I still don't go straight on with like just putting it on. We kind of still do it in stages, because I don't want any like time his halter goes on to be a fluke. I want it to be because he's fully understood like every part of it. So that's just how I'm doing things. Boy. Good. Good boy. So I'm just giving him a little second here. Like, again, he has done this so many times and I know he can wear the halter, but I can just see him holding a little bit of tension. I don't know if we'll get a full release, but I just want to see him kind of blinking a little bit and his body softening before we kind of move on to the next stage. Really good, Ember. Good boy. So there we're getting a release. Another stage with him, and from being in groups, I've heard that it is quite common, is when I go from using one hand to two hands, like he still has a little bit of tension and sometimes he'll even like fully run off. That's much rarer now, I'll say that, and he'll do it now. So that's also another step when I'm like getting the halter on, is like we do the one hand and then I start introducing the two hands. And someone was calling me, so the video stopped. So now just he's had his little release, so I continue. And so I'll let him take a minute there where I was just kind of like pretending like where my hands are to do it up. Again, I'm not saying this is the way to do things. I'm in no rush with Ember. This is how I want to work with him. I know a lot of people have different methods that are a lot more efficient, but I want to work with him this way. I'm seeing progress. I think the reason I'm saying this is I think for a lot of people they'll be like, why is she on week 5 and still doing this? But I don't have any goals with him apart from to build a really good relationship, and so this is how I want to do that, and I see his trust build every day. So yes, I take things ridiculously slow with him, but he's a really sensitive horse. I have not just noticed that myself, I've been told that by multiple. We're on a really big barn and there's a lot of trainers that come through and everyone has mentioned like, wow, he is really sensitive. So I think it's really important to take things slow with a horse like this. So yeah, that's my little spiel. Basically, nothing we're doing here is for efficiency. It is all for a good relationship and like really solid foundations. again, I'm checking if you can see in the video. So I just put his halter on really low, because again, that time of putting it on, I just wanted to get it on and tie the knot. Like, it's just even him seeing me tying the knot out of the corner of his eye and things like that. But I was really pleased with that, and then I just let him sit with it for a little bit, so I'll probably pause the video now and just realise, you know, I don't ever go straight to putting the rope on. I always give him like 5 minutes, because I don't want him to think, oh, the minute this goes on, I'm being pushed around and have to do all these things. I want the halter to not really have any meaning. Like, the rope has meaning, but the halter is just something, something he wears that is just chill, you know? So he's had his break. I went over and just tightened the halter up a little bit, and so now I'm just going to go back to some stick work, and then we're going to go get the rope, and you'll just see, I'd say, I'm predicting now, he's still a little tense about the rope, but he's definitely getting a lot better. So I feel like he's just holding a bit of tension from the whole halter going on, so I'm going to send him out and just let him move his feet, because I think he does sometimes forget that he can go, like he can leave at any point, and I don't want him to ever feel stuck. So I'm going to send him out because I feel like he's just got a little bit frozen, and then I'll bring him back in and we will do the rope. But I will leave my camera running, even though annoyingly you can't really see much. Come on, then. So yeah, he's letting out a bit more tension. I just tightened it up again because I'm sure most people watching know this, but you never want the noseband to be like playing on the soft cartilage. So I always want to make sure it is up on the strong part of his bones. So yeah, I'm pleased with where we are. So we're going to progress. We're going to get his lead rope. So we've done leading practice. I'd say this is his 5th time now. The first time we used a much longer rope. I don't know how long this one is, but it is shorter than the one we started with, just because I wanted to give him enough rope that, like, when inevitably he pulls back against the pressure, I kind of have enough rope to hold on to and it doesn't keep slipping out my hand. But now he learned pressure and release so quickly. I was actually quite amazed because everything else has been quite slow. So now we're onto a shorter rope. So I just start by always clicking this thing, so he knows that sound. And yeah, basically I'm just going to go do what I'm doing, and I might just do a voiceover to explain. So I start with the usual approach and retreat method with the rope, just building his confidence and curiosity in it rather than kind of just rushing him and maybe increasing that fear. You'll see in today's session he kind of takes off. As I said, every day is different, but today he really wasn't a big fan of the rope. So you'll see here in a second when I go to rub him, he's like, absolutely not. And so instead of just blocking that movement, I allow him to go. Again, I've cropped bits out and sped this video up, but I just send him out again, just the exact same way I did at the beginning of the video, just to give him time to move his feet, find kind of relaxation and release some of that tension before I bring him back to start work with the rope again. And as you'll see, as I approach him, he's still holding tension. He still moves to the side, but not as big a reaction. And I'm able to kind of rub on his neck a little bit. And then as a reward, in a second, I will step back and just let him process that. So I walked away. I think I gave him about a minute, and then I re-approach him and start rubbing on him again with the rope. And as you can see, kind of those reactions are becoming much more minimal, and he's actually showing interest now rather than just pure fear. So after a bit more rubbing on both sides of his head, I then finally rub him with the clasp, just because obviously the metal feels a lot colder, and then I clip on and just give him a moment. This is where everything you do with the rope really does become really important, because any movement I make with that rope does have meaning. And so when I first clip him on, I just keep it nice and loose, and then you'll see I'm just asking for a gentle side step here because I want to open him up. If I asked him to walk in a straight line towards me, I'm not going to get that straight away, so I want to make the right answer easy for him. So I just ask for side steps to really unlock the front legs. And then every correct answer is rewarded with a complete slackening of the rope and a quick break, just to let him know that he did do the correct thing. So that video kind of got sidetracked, but so now I just want to work on the backup, which we haven't worked on. So I'm going to put in a better angle. Good boy, stand. So we're going to shake the rope. Back. Good boy. Good job. Back. So just doing it gently to let him kind of like figure it out at the moment, because obviously the rope wiggling is a bit new to him. Good boy. Back. Back. And so today I'm just going to reward just like 1 or 2 back steps, because obviously it's something new for him, and then we'll do a bit more leading. Good. Back, back, back. Good. So I was really pleased with his little back steps there, so I'm going to leave it there, because at the minute as well with him we still don't have that great draw, so I don't want to put too much emphasis on the backup right now. But I was really pleased with that, so I'm just going to yield his hind end, both sides. Good. There I was asking him to yield his hindquarters and step under. He gave me 1 step, and I'm going to leave it there. Actually, I might ask for once more, because these are all new concepts to him, so I don't want to kind of blow his brain and expect it to be perfect. Good boy. Good. Nice. Really good. Good boy. Good. So there, he got it, so I'm going to leave it there for a sec, ask 1 more time, and then we'll probably just finish with a little bit of leading. Good boy. back, 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 back. So I'm really pleased with how he did today. We did a lot more leading than we've done. We started on the backup, so that's the first time. And we started, I know they weren't perfect, but on the yielding the hind end. So really, really pleased with that. We're probably going to do another session like that tomorrow. And then should I be able to get help on, today's Sunday, on Tuesday, I'd like to actually take him out of here for the first time into the round pen. It's just a short, like 50-foot walk. Obviously it's out of containment, so it'll be a big day, and I definitely want help for that, just to kind of shut gates and things. But I'm really pleased with him. I mean, I can't ask for more than that. So we're gonna leave it there, aren't we, Ember? I'm so proud of him. I'm just gonna kind of love on him a little bit now, and then that will be the end of our session. Good. That's a very big release for the halter off. Good boy. So that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you so much for watching, and again, as I always say, if you want to continue following our journey, please subscribe to our channel. I've got a whole playlist of Ember videos, but I also include him in some of my other videos, so kind of have a look out for that. It's always in the title if he's going to be there. But yeah, I'm so proud of him. He's come so far. He's really sensitive and a slow burner, hence the name kind of works for him. But he's doing really well, and like I said, I think I said in an earlier clip, I don't have any goals for him other than, you know, eventually I want him backed and riding, and I'm not sure what discipline or whatever, but I don't have a timeline for that. I just want him to become like a happy, secure little horse. So I do feel like we're on the way to get there, although he does still absolutely hate men, which is an issue. But that's a battle for another day. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye.